Well, welcome to Sports Backtalk with Boley and Ringer. And Mike, geez,
yeah,
weren't we just here?
Yeah.
I don't know what happened in the last week. It was absolutely crazy week. We got some stuff done and whatever else, but it's good to be back, and we're gonna talk about where you want to start. We don't have the Vikings to talk about this week. We want to talk about Wild right off the bat.
Well, we can bring that up. We've had some nice experiences. Like to just do a shout out to the Mr. Pete Foundation. It was a well attended event. Raised a lot of money. Well over $10,000 to help out the teachers in our town, and went really well. Got to talk to a lot of people, and we had an absolute blast.
Did you buy one of the jerseys that we showed last week?
I did.
Okay.
We'll leave it at that.
Well, you won't tell me what. You don't have to tell me how much you spent.
It's irrelevant. The jerseys went really well. The Bufflin stick went real well. Just want to. Steve Shimon donated a $1,300 condo stay, which was really nice. That went for quite a bit, and nice job, Steve, on that. And Rainy Lake Houseboats donated a houseboat trip, sure, which is well over $1,500. So very nice gesture on their part. Again, they're always giving stuff. So you guys never taken a houseboat trip, you see Billy Doherty out there and take one. They're a blast.
They are a blast. I agree. We did one.
We were allowed to do like advertising and stuff on there.
What the heck? It's our no.
It's local community television. We're talking about the community and how they can make more money.
That's a good thing.
How's that?
Lots of people there on Saturday night. I don't know if you said that.
Yeah, it was well attended. There was a couple weddings in town. I noticed, which probably hurt the attendance a little bit. It's a big event. They're doing a really good job, and most of the people that run it are actually from out of town, so logistically it has to be a little difficult at times, but Kim Sundin Opelt and Gina Skorpinski, who's Michael's daughter, and they're heavy into it. Then Molly Johnson won or Molly Pavlik won the Legacy Award, which goes to a teacher that they single out and does a good job. So they're next door neighbors, Einer and Julie, I believe. I can't remember her. Sorry if I didn't get that name right, but great person.
Yeah, let's talk about the Wild. Thursday night in St. Louis, a 3-2 loss. Saturday night at home against Winnipeg, a 4-3 win. So
yeah,
was that add up to 6-6 for the season? So 1-1.
Yeah.
I was at the game on Saturday night down at the X, and personally I thought they maybe didn't dominate portions of the game, but they were in control nearly all that hockey game. Take away 10 minutes out of the 60. I felt like they controlled the play. I know Boudreau said after the first period that they weren't being physical enough. Things changed in the second period. They came out and absolutely dominated the second period. And in the third period, they got one to go up 4-2 and then did enough to hang on.
Yeah, and I did watch both games. I watched the Winnipeg game tape delayed. Watched that about 1:30 in the morning on Sunday. And I had to watch it. I did watch the St. Louis Blues game and came away kind of disappointed in that one. They had 3 breakaways.
But you say you're disappointed because you told us last week that they weren't going to make the playoffs. So how at any point
it doesn't mean I can't be a fan. I still want them to do well. I just see the makeup. You know what they got going though is that coach. Okay, he will not let them get complacent. They were saying the same things after the Blues game. We weren't ready. We weren't this. We weren't that. How can you not be ready on opening night?
That's a interesting question.
It's the first game. You got 81 more of these to go, and how you can't be ready on opening night. I believe 2 or 3 players. Dubnyk was one of them. Suter was one of them. I'm kind of going, oh boy. And I guess. Another thing that worried me is the coach Boudreau had to chew him out after the first period on Saturday night. And if you're already having to get into their faces and into their grills about effort and contact, something's not right in that locker room.
Biggest thing he said about after the first period was that not so much how they played the hitting, not hitting in the first period. They only had 5 hits in the first period. He said that obviously that's not enough, and he said so. But he said what really bugged him was after Winnipeg scored like with 2 minutes left, and then with 4 seconds left or something like that. He said as they were coming off the ice to go into the locker room, he said they were all kind of looking at each other like, well, you were to blame, or you were. It wasn't. What should I have done differently? What could I have done? How did I make this period not work? And that's what he kind of went in there and said. It's like, quit looking around, start playing hockey. Play hockey, and quit worrying about what everybody else is doing. Go do what you're supposed to do. And I said they came out in the second period, played with a little vim and vinegar, and they get the first one from Stewart, the first goal, if I remember right. And kind of a cheesy, cheap goal, but sometimes that's what you need.
Well, you scored though, right in front of the net.
You scored, and it went in, and that's what you need. So like I said, I enjoyed watching the game. There were times when I wondered if the goal judge sitting next to me was going to get any work because all the goals were being scored on the other end. I found out they make $100 a game, the goal judge.
More than I make for a Bronco hockey game, I'll tell you that.
And they get a free meal and free parking. That's what they get for being a goal judge.
Well, I could go to Billy Mason's for supper. I'm sure I'd get a free meal there.
I would guess that you probably could do that, yes. So.
But anyways, getting back to that game, this Pukinen kid.
I like him.
Yeah, and they mentioned he's not a great skater. I thought he skated fine. I mean, he was actually moving, and I didn't see any problem with his skating or anything. And
we were talking kind of Sheldon and I, that they should put Zucker, Holla, and him on the same line.
Interesting.
Who could keep up with those buggers? They can skate like the wind, so it would be interesting. I don't expect to see it happen, but it would be interesting to see all three of them out there at one time, what would happen.
Yeah, and Zucker's a good guy to have. He can drive you nuts defensively, but boy, when he gets the puck in the Jets, I mean, he had about 2-3 scoring chances in both games, which are out of your fourth line guy. That's pretty impressive. Stahl, I thought, had a bad first game. Actually, was dissing him a little bit on Twitter, and a couple people came to his defense, and I said, "Listen, I said I'm just worried about him. I'm not saying he's bad. I said I'm worried that he might be bad. I don't want another Thomas Vanek on this team." And he showed me Saturday some passion and some heart, and he's actually pretty good with the puck and bangs the body a little bit. And you know what else I saw is that a lot of them were laughing and having fun and enjoying it and giving each other a hard time on the ice. And you can't be so robotic out there. You got to have some emotion and play with emotion. Otherwise, the game can be boring and you're not going to do much.
Both Stahl and Boudreau got asked after the hockey game what they thought about getting booed after the first period because there was a pretty resounding booing.
Did you boo?
I did not.
You can't. You're up in the presser.
I was up in the press, but I can't do that. But it's one period of hockey of 41 home games. But both of them said, "Look, people paid good money to come and watch us play. We deserve to be booed from the way we played the last 2 minutes." So to the man, they kind of gave the same response, and I hope that continues. That they're going to feel responsible to the people who are paying hundreds of dollars to have a seat and come and watch them.
So Stahl pretty much said the same thing?
He said exactly the same. Yeah, he said exactly the same. Let them boo. They have the right to boo. No whatever. None of that stuff about they can go home or if they don't want to watch or whatever. Like the tennis player that I read about the other day, and I'm like, wow, just bizarre.
So Saturday's game, I thought most of the Wild players were engaged. They played well. Brodin was a little tough in the first period, not just because of his giveaway, but just not playing with a lot of confidence that first period. Some other guys that stood out, I thought Stewart really took a hold of the team and threw him on his back, and he played well. But I liked their game Saturday, and Winnipeg's a tough team. That's a tough team to play, and when you can outplay them the way the Wild did, only allowing 13 shots basically through 85-90% of the game, you got to be happy with that.
Yeah, it's Mr. Byfuglien, his little elbows and pushes away.
No.
He's continuously trying to get in your head and trying to be physical and get you off their game. And I thought the Wild did a pretty good job of just kind of ignoring him. Let him do his stuff and move on. Not that it's bad, Mr. Byfuglien. I don't want to get you mad at me, but.
No, Buff's a strong kid. He's almost too strong. The way he throws those guys around, and then it's scary sometimes because Granlund tries to hit him, and he can get hurt real bad. But Byfuglien plays his game, and usually if he's the type of player, if you don't do anything to him, he'll leave you alone. But as soon as you tick him off, then he has another game he goes to. But
what about Austin Matthews? What do you got to say about that? Just luck?
No. Him and McDavid, you're going to hear a lot about those two in the next 5 to 10 years. Are going to take over the game. These young guys, Goudreau out of Calgary, McDavid out of Edmonton, Austin Matthews, Eichel, as soon as he's back in Buffalo. It's the young man's game. The 19, 20-year-olds aren't afraid to get out there and play against the veterans because they can skate faster. They're smarter. Okay, I never thought I'd say that. I just look at these young kids, and they're so good. It's scary good. Usually it takes 4 or 5 years to get to where they're at, and then they're already there. So watch for the young guys. The Wild have a couple 20-somethings. I'm interested to see how this Oliver or Eriksson Ek does as soon as he gets his papers signed off by the Canadian government. But that's an interesting guy to watch. And Pukkinen, there's lots of good talent. But Austin Matthews, getting back to your question, he's the real deal. He'll score at least 30 goals. He'll probably get 80 points this year.
Okay.
What else? So Sheldon, let's go to more of a personal side of the game. You and Sheldon, big shot pressers up there in the press box with Michael Russo and all the pundits.
The dominant one at the press conference.
Yeah, so
warned me in advance.
You guys went in there and actually did some interviews. Who'd you get?
I didn't go in and ask a question. I wanted to kind of go through it myself and kind of see how it all went. Sheldon, God bless him, he went right in there and didn't bother him. Just went right up to Eric Holla and introduced himself and went right to work. Went right over to Dubnyk, introduced himself, went right to work, and I just kind of watched and went, okay, this is kind of how it should be done. And he gave me a little guff about making sure I was ready to ask Bruce Boudreau a question in the press conference. And I told him flat out, I don't want to be on ESPN that bad. If I ask him a question, he goes after me. They're going to pan the cameras back, and pretty soon I'm going to be no, I don't want that. So I went and watched. I went and tried to learn the pattern. So if I do go do it again, I can go down there and be a professional about it.
Well, then that you are. I mean, Sheldon, of course, he'll just jump right in there. He's not afraid, and I like that. He deals with Trent Klatt in Grand Rapids, who used to play in the NHL, and most NHL players, unlike the NFL or NBA, NHL players are all pretty approachable. They're not bigger than the game. They understand that that's their job after the game is to talk to the press.
You brought up Trent Klatt. Trent Klatt was on Sheldon's show Saturday morning, his Coach's Corner show
awesome.
They have on down there. And he told Sheldon, this is the middle of October now, he said, anything less than what we did last year will be considered a failure.
So second place or better.
First or second it's got to be, or if the season's a failure, third place at the state would be considered a failure in his mind. I thought that was very interesting.
Well, he's got a big core coming back. I don't see why they couldn't.
He's got the 3 Division I players, and he guaranteed they all be on the same line together.
So you got Hayne and McLaughlin, and who's the other one?
You know him. I off the top of my head, I do not.
They got that goalie who's really good. I can't remember his name, but no, they got some talent there in Rapids, and they're still kicking out some Division I players, something that us up in International Falls have to start doing.
Hunter Shepard, speaking of Division I players, got a start with the UMD Bulldogs in goal on Saturday.
Oh, we did.
Took a 3-1 loss, but UMD now they're suffering their first loss of the season, but their third goaltender in 6 games. Sandelin must still be looking for the right person.
They had a freshman in on Friday. They played Notre Dame both nights and split.
Split with Notre Dame.
It's a good split. Notre Dame's top 10 team as well, and
So
Gophers, what were they doing? Playing that U.S. development team. Did you hear any results on that?
I did not on Friday night, and I didn't hear
cares?
anything from Saturday, so I
Doesn't
did not
matter.
see anything that happened there.
Okay.
Where do you want to go now? You want to talk NFL a little bit?
Yeah, why not? That's what we do.
There were just some major surprises yesterday. Pittsburgh losing to Miami comes to mind right off the bat.
Fantasy disaster.
Roethlisberger, your man Antonio Brown. What did I see? 4 catches for 37 yards?
Tell you what, it's been the norm lately for him. It seems Roethlisberger must not have him on his team because he's definitely not throwing to him like he was. And thank goodness I had Sammy Coates because he covered me for last week.
I was going to ask you, is it something that teams have found a way to take Antonio Brown away, or Are they doing something more coverage-wise, do you think, or what's the reason?
I've always looked at him as being, you can't defend him.
Okay.
I mean, you can stop him a little bit, but he's always going to get his 10, 11 targets and 8 to 9 catches. Well, he's been held back the last 2 for whatever reason. I don't know if because they're going 4 wide and they're splitting it around and using him more as a decoy because Sammy Coates has had some big games and Wheaton's been there, and so he's definitely spreading it around. But Antonio better start getting his pretty quick or I'm going to trade him.
Okay, I was going to ask her what's going to happen. There you go.
Yeah.
There's your answer. What else happened?
Green Bay. What's going on with Rodgers? There's all kinds of rumors floating around. What do you got?
Okay, I watched 10 offensive plays for the Packers yesterday, and I think he's still maybe as mobile as he's been, but his arm strength does not seem to be what it needs to be. That's just my reaction. It just seems like that ball that he used to be able to get into the tight whatever. I know he hit Jordy Nelson one time right down the sideline on the right-hand side of the screen about the 10-yard line. Otherwise, it almost seems like he's fighting himself, like he's got something's not right in his shoulder or his elbow or something. It does not seem like he's got that zip that he had 2 years ago. He looks a lot like he did last year when everything was being blamed on, well, Jordy's not here. Yep. It just looks like, frankly, he's gotten a little old, and he's lost a little pepper on that pass ball.
Well, they were talking on K-Fan today about his accuracy. They were concerned more about accuracy than anything. It just seems like he's missing a lot of the players. And you know, 2 years ago when Jordy was healthy, boy, he used to hit him on a regular basis on those fly patterns or post patterns, and Jordy could always separate. So I'm also kind of blaming the receivers a little bit. I don't know if they're getting any separation off the line of scrimmage. Obviously, Jordy Nelson's knee isn't 100%, or if it is, he's definitely lost a step. And Devontae Adams, he's a good number 3 guy. Cobb's another year older, so who's to say that the receivers aren't getting separation? I remember somebody said last year that the difference between Rodgers and Bridgewater was Rodgers isn't afraid to throw it in tight coverage because he knows his receivers are going to come up with the ball. I don't know if Rodgers feels that right now.
So he's maybe not as confident, so he's not willing to thread the needle.
Thinks he needs to be too accurate.
Okay. I think last year, his offensive line was hurting a little bit, so he took a little bit of a beating last year at times. It's an interesting thing. Dallas at 5-1.
Yeah.
That's I think it's got a lot of people noticed. I know NBC last night they were asking who the team is in the NFC. And
Tony Dungy.
And Tony Dungy said the Dallas Cowboys. And
just what America needs is America's team to be big shots again. Let's see where they are. That defense is very vulnerable. They got 2 rookie of the year candidates in Dak Prescott and I can hardly wait till Romo comes back.
When Romo comes back and they're fighting about who should be the starting quarterback. That could be the demise.
It's definitely going to be the demise because Jerry Jones keeps pushing that button, and of course Jerry Jones, he'll find a way to screw that thing up. And I don't know, that Ezekiel Elliott's a fun player to watch, and that offensive line's the best in the business. So I still think there's a lot of vulnerability on that defense. It's been a makeshift defense for the last 4 years, and there hasn't been a lot of change on it. So watch for the Dallas defense to start
showing its real
colors here in the next coming weeks. Vikings and them, of course, play on my birthday,
which is
December 1st, Thursday night. It's the week after Thanksgiving, I believe. So the Vikings, again, it's my birthday on December 1st, and the Vikings play.
So that'd be a heck
I
of
should
a party.
maybe somehow get tickets.
Ooh.
In case somebody's out there and looking to get rid of 2 tickets to the Vikings game on my birthday.
There you go.
December 1st. Yeah. Okay, I played
what
that.
What else did you see in the NFL yesterday?
High-scoring game as always over in New Orleans. They beat the defending NFC champs, 1-5.
What the heck?
Some say they can come back. Tony Dungy said, no way, that team's done. It doesn't have the same defense as they have in the past.
Okay, so they lost Josh Norman. You're the big NFL guru. They lost Josh Norman. Who else have they lost? Because here I am. I'm thinking, who else is not there off of that defense from last year when it was so dominant and made so many things happen?
They lost a couple defensive linemen, not their starters, but the backups.
Okay.
I can't remember the names, but they all went back into the free agency and got picked up, and that's hurting them big time. Josh Norman losing him has not hurt him. Okay, that front seven was the best in the NFL. That pushed Josh Norman in a good spot. So that was not the problem. They'll get better. Not as good as last year, though. What do you got, Woody?
Well,
Even though it isn't Q&A time, but we'll take time to take your question.
Always for Woody. Always.
as a dual citizen, dual citizen.
Of what?
American, you guys never talk about the CFL. And here, a lot of your audience are Canadians. Let's talk about the CFL a little bit.
Well, I'll tell you what, Calgary is very dominant right now. Through 16 games, they're 14-1-1. I'll call them my Winnipeg Blue Bombers are 10-6 and in second place. They've already clinched a playoff spot. So go Bombers. Looks like Calgary right now is the team to beat. Nobody's even close. The East is completely everybody's under 500 in the East, or right around there. They're all got like 6 wins and 10 losses
Well,
in that area.
how many teams are in the CFL?
There are 9 teams.
9 teams.
9 teams in the CFL.
So everybody gets in the playoffs. except like-
They actually take 6 teams into the playoffs.
Okay.
They'll end up taking 4 teams out of the West this year and just 2 out of the East. And the 4th place team from the West will go play out in the East half of it. But Calgary, like I said, right now Calgary is on if I remember right, a 10 or 11 game winning streak. And like I said, they're 14-1-1, and they look so dominant right now. I don't know if it's even worth playing the rest of it.
Well, I guess I'll look at it this way. Unlike the NFL, who helps pay for part of my salary on this show, the CFL doesn't pay for any of my salary. So I refuse at this time to talk about the CFL. You know, I don't know one guy in the CFL. Do you know a player in the CFL? And don't make one up either, Woody.
Well, no, but the point is, that's why I'm trying to learn.
So here's an easy.
I'm watching your show. I want to be educated.
Try to accumulate knowledge.
Weston Dressler played with Ty Boyle at North Dakota.
Okay.
There's our connection to the Falls. Weston Dressler used to play for Saskatchewan, now plays for Winnipeg. And
What about Dieter Brock?
oh my God,
You know, Ronnie Lancaster.
now
Back in the Saskatchewan Rough Rider days.
now
So,
you're digging deep.
no, that was a CFL. Okay. Tony Dungy, Ronnie Lancaster. I like Ronnie
that you bring that
Lancaster.
up, Woody, because on the football broadcast for the Broncos on Friday night, I brought up about the CFL, and one of the rules that I like in the CFL that I would love to see American football put into place is when there are 2 penalties on the same play, and of course in the American football they're offsetting. You know, whether it's a personal foul and an offside or something, they're the same. They're considered the same in the Canadian League. Whichever way the 10 yards is supposed to go, they replay it down, but they move the ball 10 yards. I think that's what we should do in American football. So if there is a face mask 15 yards and a holding and it's 10, then we should move the ball 5 yards and we'll replay it down. I think the penalties, a 15 and a 5, how can you say that they're offsetting? They are very different penalties and should not be treated the same. But
So your ref's going to have to do a little math.
the refs
on
are going
these
to have to do a
things.
little math, and that's the big thing. That's my next thing.
Okay.
I'm going to get a letter out to Goodell and tell him that this is the next thing he's got to get pushed through if he wants his $44 million a year.
Now that Woody's probably helped our show and got us off track, okay, I'm going to throw something out there.
All right.
Because I tweeted. I saw a penalty. I was watching this Bronco game on this site, like Channel 12. It's obviously a community channel, kind of like what we got going here. And there was a pass interference. And it wasn't an automatic first down. They just moved the ball 10 yards, okay? And I'm saying, well, that should be automatic first down. And Ringer said, no, it's not in high school. Not that the Minnesota High School League is wrong very often, but yeah, they're wrong.
It's the national rule.
It's a stupid rule. Here's why. It's pretty easy. And I know that's why the NFL and college have it, is the team that's winning might as well just interfere on every pass play because all they're going to give up is 10 yards. And not even, not even necessarily a first down.
Correct.
So instead of giving away a long bomb, just say tackle the guy. And what you're doing then is you're hurting development in the high school game. You're hurting big plays that could happen. If I was a coach and it's the last 2 minutes of a ball game, I would say every throw you tackle the guy until we get.
Thing is, in high school football, there's a 15-yard penalty, and if it is deemed intentional or however you want to, they can put two 15s. They can put 30 yards together. So, but you're never going to see a referee ever call that.
But it's a stupid rule. Get rid of it. Also, getting back to intentional foul. How about pro basketball where the big guys, Howard gets the ball and they smack him, and then he goes through. We watch a half of just throwing free throws. So. Yeah, they got to figure out these rules. It's not that difficult. Just put Burley on the committee, and I'll fix it.
That's why we're here.
When I watch that basketball, it looks like they get to take too many steps.
Oh,
they run with that ball and then they throw it.
Oh, absolutely.
Well, they're athletes. Okay, it just looks like they're taking too many steps. Now you got those short little legs. You're just chucking up and down that court. They're going to see you 5 or 6 little steps before you try to reach the basket and put that layup in, okay? But these guys are athletes. They're gliding to the basket. You're chopping to the basket.
No, I'm just saying they take weight. It's like they run halfway there.
Shout out to the Minnesota Lynx for evening the series last night. Game 5 this Thursday night.
Yeah.
For the WNBA.
Answer me this.
Yeah.
Not to interrupt, as I've done about 4 times tonight, but I'm in the mood. Okay. Why are they waiting until Thursday?
That is a grand question.
Why don't they wait till March? Let's finish this off in March. See you all soon. We're doing this final game in 5 months.
And I didn't check this out, but I suspect there's something going on at Target Center, either a concert or something on Tuesday and Wednesday night. I did not go check it out.
The T-Wolves play Wednesday.
At home on Wednesday.
Yeah.
So,
but it's an exhibition. Throw them over at the Met Center or whatever.
Put them at the X right on top of the X.
That's where the Lynx played for a couple games, but
they will in their entire season next summer because the Target Center will be under construction.
Taxpayer money?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Sure. Come on. That's the best use of taxpayer money, right? I'm kidding everybody. So, what's next?
Well, I'm just saying that, they're going to be going up against Thursday Night Football now, too. So I don't know if it's a real good move. I don't know what the audience has been on ESPN. 2 they're on, but
2 because college football will be on ESPN on Thursday night.
Maya Moore will carry that team to the title, though. They'll win another one.
Showed up last night. There was a certain edge that she played with last night, and it's too bad that she had to wait until the series was on the edge before scoring 31 points. But it was good to see them show up and play like they did on the road.
Yeah, excellent. What else? What else you got, Woody?
What about that young dude playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs from Arizona?
Austin, we just actually discussed him. Yeah. Thanks for bringing it up, though, Woody.
So,
really good player. Really good.
Major League Baseball playoffs. We sort of got it right over the weekend. The Dodgers and the Cubs in the National League.
Yeah.
And also...
we didn't do bad.
We didn't do too bad. Cleveland playing Toronto, so they got game 3 tonight. Cleveland's up 2-0.
An audience of what? What do we got? Audience of 32?
Probably.
Okay. Now, if you guys remember, who won the game last night for the Dodgers?
Who got the pitching win?
Yeah.
I believe Kershaw got the pitching win.
Oh, was I not talking Kershaw last week? A little straggly hair. You got the beardish, he's old school.
Well, he came in and got the 2-out save in Game 5, and then comes back on 3 days rest. Yeah. And so let's make a prediction. Like I said, Cleveland's already up 2-0. The Dodgers up 1-0.
1-1.
So who's making the World Series? Changing our picks because
I'm still going Dodgers. I believe in the curse. Dodgers will get there. Kershaw is going to go on 3 days rest every time. If he gets out there for 2 more games, those are automatic wins. So I got the Dodgers winning in 7, and nobody likes the Toronto Blue Jays. Did you know that? They all think they're a bunch of crybabies. Batista, Encarnacion, Donaldson. All they do is complain to the umps the whole game. Every pitch, just like David Ortiz does, every pitch that they call a strike says that can't be a strike. I didn't swing at it. Okay?
So that means you're pulling for the Cleveland.
Oh, definitely the Cleveland Indians. However, now that I'm in the zone, 12,000 fans showing up in August for the Cleveland Indians. The first place Cleveland Indians were getting 12 to 13,000 fans a game in August, right in the pennant crunch time. Now they're all there for the big, playoffs and all the fans. They got 65,000 deep, and they're my team, and here we go. And that's why our Twins fans, even though we're losing 100 games a year, at least we're getting 25,000 a game.
Best stadium to go watch a baseball game at.
Cleveland?
In Cleveland. If you're into going to watch places to watch baseball, Kansas City's real close. Jacobs Field, well, it's former Progressive Field now, whatever it is. Best place to watch a baseball game. The most stuff to do, watch, be a part of is the experience. But
well, if they brought the stadium to Minnesota, I would go, but because I've been to Cleveland. Okay, that's not a real cool place, but I agree with you. The stadium is beautiful, as are most of these new stadiums. Yes, Woody.
Do you ever read the Toronto Globe, the Mail?
What are you? Did you get dual citizenship today? You got all these Canadian questions.
Did you see where the public announcer, the
PA guy
in Toronto is not going to mention Indians?
Why is that?
Baseball game tonight.
Oh, because of the politically correct stuff. Yeah, well, hey, that's
Or is
fine.
he just going to call them the Cleveland baseball team? Just Cleveland? Interesting. I had not.
Yeah, I find it kind of contradicting that certain, like the Sioux had to get rid of their name, but the Redskins can keep theirs, the Indians can keep theirs. But that's a whole other subject, and I don't think we want to go there. But I agree. I agree with that guy, to be honest.
Well, I mean, I understand that this is this is not the format, the time or the place. But
Yeah.
I'm just throwing out some little factoid.
You're trying to slip me up, buddy. But I'm all for that guy, to be honest with you. That's my belief. If Native Americans, the Indian tribe, doesn't want their name being used out there in public, then I don't think it should be. So there's my view on
I
something.
agree with Mike on the on Cleveland and the Dodgers making it to the World Series. Why do we hate the Cubs?
I don't hate them. It's
Because
just
the Cub fans are whiners. That's the nicest thing I can say.
it's the best place to go watch a game. I disagree. Wrigley Field. I've been to Wrigley.
Field, bleachers at Wrigley Field is the best pure baseball experience you can have in your entire life.
I've been to Wrigley 4 times, and I agree with you. And they know what I like best about Wrigley? They serve old style beer. Who serves old style beer at a baseball game? In the tall
They
boys.
serve it in San Francisco when the Cubs come to town. So
Do they really?
They do.
Oh, you gotta like that.
you got to give San Francisco their props. They didn't win it in even year, by the way. Their string is over.
Oh, it is. Yeah, a little too much. Cubs came back on them. What else? So we got who got winning it all?
I'll go. I'm going to go Cleveland.
All right, I'm going to go.
You'll go Dodgers.
No, I'm a Dodger. Steve Garvey, Steve Sachs, Ron Say,
Pretty boys.
Davey Ropes,
Those pretty boys.
the pretty boys.
LA.
Yeah. Let's say football. It's baseball. They got to look good. What was your question?
I was just wondering who you guys thought was for winning the election. That's right, politically.
Wow.
So no.
Okay, I'm going to answer that.
Based on the Farmers Almanac is saying it's going to be cold.
Snow and lots of
What do
cold.
you think is going to be the first day that we'll be able to start ice fishing?
Well, little California Dreamer boy, I'll be surprised if he's still around here when it starts snowing. Paul with the nice, blondish hair blowing in the wind, he's not going to be a part of this winter.
When can you ice fish
when
right
are you
outside of
gonna be
here?
able to start ice fishing, yeah.
Right out here.
Yeah, right over
Prediction?
here. Yeah.
January 20th.
Oh, come on.
Well, they're stupid otherwise, aren't they? What do you think? Go right out here.
I'll go December 27th. I have no idea.
There'll be some goofy icer fishermen going out there, mid-December. They don't care. They'll go out there in a foot of ice and
Not next week.
No.
no.
Not next week.
No. But getting back to the election, the only thing I'll say is I'm voting,
Yeah.
and I do not like either candidate, but I am going to vote for one of them.
After 2 eagles.
I am going to vote for one of them. I won't say who. Okay, that's beside the point. But neither of them deserve to be the president of the United States of America. That's my opinion. I think we're all the same feeling on this, is do not vote because you don't like them. You have to take one or the other. It's not a good choice. Even vote the independent guy, this Johnson guy. But don't vote. Get out there and vote. Of course, our local elections, you got to get out there and vote for them hardworking people. Anybody who throws their hat in deserves credit for that. And so what are you going to do about who you voting for?
I'll take the same thing. I'll take the same road. I like your road there. I'll follow right behind you and get out there and vote. And especially for, I was reading the Minneapolis paper, I think it was this weekend, and they were talking about the fact that 64% of the local races in the state of Minnesota
Yes.
either have one candidate or no candidates. And I just think that's just telling you something about the political process, that it's getting to be too political, too whatever, and people don't want to get out there. There was one town, a suburb outside of Minneapolis, that is worried about because nobody has applied to become the city treasurer. So they don't know if somebody's going to be able to cut the checks and balance the books and everything else, and that just seems something to me.
The dog of some mayor in somewhere in Minnesota.
Yeah, probably did. We'll do well. Yes, Woody. Oh boy, I knew we shouldn't have got into politics.
Go back.
Speaking of politics,
I know. I knew that's where you were going.
but
Woody, come on up here.
I'm talking on Pinehurst Sports. We always look to the Capitol to be the most politically correct place. You know, that's
Like Washington D.C. or St. Paul or both. Okay.
How do they continue to call their football team the Redskins?
Oh, we're back on that again, aren't we?
Yeah.
Money out there, Woody.
I would say the owner of the Washington Redskins has made it very clear he will not change that name. And if the NFL's back, I mean, how much millions and billions of dollars the NFL has?
They don't have more than the federal government.
Yeah, they do. All our money is somewhere else, Woody. What are you?
If you think the Cleveland Indians should not be the Cleveland Indians, then should the Washington Redskins be the Washington Redskins?
No, all of it should be taken away, as far as I'm
Chicago
concerned.
Blackhawks.
I love that jersey. Yes, I do believe that should also. I say if the local, if how do you put it? If it's the Sioux Indians or Navajo or whatever tribe that's associated with should have the say on whether that is used or not. And if they think it's okay, then I think it's okay.
Yeah, it's like almost like a trademark, and if it is okay, then maybe they get some small, tiny, whatever.
Yeah.
It's like a brand or something. It is what it is.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, it's a subject that it's way over my head. I you know what I enjoyed the most out of the last couple comments is Ringer's going to follow my road. Wow. I don't think you want to follow that very often, my friend.
That's for sure. I agree. Just
what a show! Look at these guys. They're all rolled up.
They're into this.
A little controversy, though, keeps your show interesting.
Yes, keep it fresh. However, I saw a couple people today, and I'll mention names. Jimmy Barkowski asked when the next Coach's Corner was on because he's so excited that Ringer went there and interviewed some kids at St. John's where Jim Barkowski went to school, and Jay Barkowski, I think the whole Barkowski family went to St. John's. So he wanted to know when that show was on, so I heard it's on tonight or tomorrow. And I said, well, do you watch Sports Back Talk? He says, oh, yeah, I watch it when I'm around. I said, well, you're not around very often. He said, no, I'm not. And then Frank Bolasky Jr., we all know Frank, right? Well, you I'm not sure you guys, but Frank Bolasky Jr., he's a well-renowned individual here in the International Falls. And he says, Busted. I said, what's that, Frank? He says, what are you doing on that Channel 7? I was scanning through the channels the other day, and I saw your ugly face on there. I said, well, we do a sports talk show on there, Frank, and did you enjoy it? He says, I don't know. I didn't watch it. I just saw that you were on there. I said, have you changed the channel? He said, yes. So he just surfed right through it.
Right through it.
Well, I think that if you have better sound, and I think you've got it now, I think your viewership will increase.
I think, well, thanks, Woody. I hope it was the sound. Well, I mean, it's a well-watched show, and I think people are willing to, I mean, this KCCC, did I say too many C's? But they're putting on some quality stuff. I've been watching a lot of it. I'll go there all the time now. There's Rainy River putting on some cool stuff, and they had a girl jump in a car, which sounds really goofy. She got in the car, she said, we're going to Voyageurs National Park, and they followed her all the way out to the park. I thought, this is cool. She's talking, she's making comments. Oh, I didn't stop legally there. I hope I'm not going to get in trouble. And it was fun. I thought that one where they took all these.
The director of that program. Right?
Oh, Oh, okay, awesome. And also they got the pictures of the bass tournament. They got those above the sky, way up in the air, and watching all these boats. That was fascinating. That is cool stuff. So I think KCC is really coming a long way, and I think more people like Ringer and I should get on there and throw your name in that and get on the show and have some fun.
You gotta have that sound better. You know, that sound makes a big difference.
So you don't care about all the stuff I just talked about?
I'm just saying that the sound, you know.
Yeah, I agree.
Better.
I agree, and
I did
you
see
try to watch it on the internet, and then it's really bad. If you watch it on Channel 7, which a lot of people don't get, the sound is good. I mean, it's quality. But if you go on the internet, and or I send it to all my buddies so they can watch it, and it's pretty tough for them to hear it. So, yeah, they're working on it. Obviously, they got us new microphones. We're big shots.
We're going to tape a show coming up on Thursday, Michael. We'll preview the playoffs for the high school that gets started next week. Volleyball on Monday, football Tuesday, volleyball Wednesday, cross country Thursday, starting next week. So
Who's doing it?
Who's doing?
Well,
we're gonna do a show on Thursday night. We're gonna remember we're gonna tape a short show on Thursday night because you're gone this weekend. I'm gone busy doing games on the radio next week. So
we're gonna do a Thursday show. We're gonna talk high school.
We're gonna talk. We'll do a little preview of where the Broncos and the Viking teams will be at.
Okay.
That'll be just part of the show. We'll talk about all our other stuff. That
Bears Packers play that night.
There you go.
Dabble into that. Wild play the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Austin Matthews, right? I mean, he's.
When are we doing our deer hunting show? Everybody wants to see our deer hunting show. We'll
we'll have to do the deer hunting show on Halloween, right?
Well, actually, we're going to do it on Halloween Sunday. Is that okay? Is that okay? Where's the orange? Halloween Sunday?
Yeah, we had a Halloween party Saturday night.
Okay.
Yeah, Sunday.
So Sunday night will work better. Our guest, he's not available Monday.
Okay.
He's got class. I mean, I thought Halloween was a holiday. Don't you get that day off?
Yeah.
It's like Valentine's Day.
Especially the federal and state employees get that.
Like Valentine's Day, Woody. No, want me to end this with my Valentine's story?
Yeah.
Okay. Every Valentine's Day, same thing every year. I say, honey, I'm leaving now. I'm gonna see you after. I get home and we'll have supper tonight. And she goes, well, Mike, she said, whatever you do, don't buy me anything again this year for Valentine's Day. I said, okay, why is that, honey? And she goes, because it's Valentine's Day 365 days around this household. You don't have to buy a special thing to show me that.
That's a trap.
All right.
I'll say happy anniversary to my wife, 24 years.
Oh, wow. Good for her. Good for you. Are we done?
We're done. We're out of here.
Don't take us too serious.